Like, okay, you're turning it up.
We
Hi,
will never get that right. How are you?
I am doing well. I'm excited to be here again for another week of the show. How are you
Yay.
doing?
I am I'm doing well. My throat might be a little bit hoarse. I just got off the Discord yelling at everyone on the Discord because we're fighting. We've been fighting on the Discord now for 3 days straight. So I call in, and a bunch of us are like on a call, and
Hmm.
we argue. Last night we went to bed at like late because we were just up yelling at each other, like everyone yelling at each other. And today we were fighting about who's the better singer. And they really tried it. So we were fighting, and this is probably going to become a public fight soon. So I'm going to
Better
call
singer between who?
the artist. I'm not going to put the artist out there yet because I don't want it to turn into that on this. But it was a mess, and all the women are in alignment apparently, and they're all like trying to drag me, but like I'm an alpha.
You're an alpha man.
I'm an alpha king. They can. I'm a king. So I was dragging all of them collectively. They
You were the
lost.
only one that had your opinion, basically.
I was the only one with my opinion. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And it's like an objectively true opinion. So they're just wrong, and they know they're wrong. So it is what it is. But so my throat hurts a little. How are you?
I'm doing really well. School year's coming to an end, so it's just kind of like, let's just make it through. But yeah, that's exciting. Only a little bit left till summer. So
Oh,
I know.
yes, hair. The hair is giving, the skin is glowing,
Oh, thank
the,
you.
the
Thank you.
happy is happying. Yes, they're delusional. I did not know. So, like, because there's so many, like, super smart women on the channel, like, you would think, oh, they're just smart people. And then you come to the Discord, and, like, everyone is just delusional because they're wrong. Delusional and wrong is the word of the day. So, we're going to fight probably the entirety of this week because I have too much fun calling in and, like, arguing. So,
And you're doing a show? You're doing a show about this debate?
maybe if we decide, probably. But like my now for the last 3 consecutive days, and I'm trying to do it once a week, but now I do it like every single day. I
Mm.
call and argue with the Discord. Like
It's your new like hobby. You just, come in there intentionally to argue. Okay.
no, I come in there like with good intent. Like I'm like, okay, this person is a good singer. They did this one thing. Let me call the Discord and tell them about it. And like, I'm excited. I'm like, hey guys, this is what is going on. I like this. They're like, no, it's not good. And then everyone is like piling on. And it's like, I feel like y'all are planning to attack me. I feel like they're like, now that we have him, let's drag him. To drag everyone else. So, yeah.
They're coming together against you.
Yeah, so that's what it feels like. The other day we were talking about the coach Stormy, the one that said whatever. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I have a question that has been on my mind, um, and it has been on my mind for the longest. Before we get into the topic, how do you? What do you think when I say someone says freedom? Do you think freedom is the highest good? It's like a philosophical question of sort, but it has been bothering me.
You know, I think I've talked about this before, um, on a show with Kayla. I think it was like freedom, privacy, or safety. Like what order would people put those in, type of thing. And, opinions were mixed. I wouldn't say that freedom. Wait, what did you ask me if it was the ultimate what?
If it's the highest good.
No, I don't think so.
Wait, what do you mean? Explain that a little.
Um, because immediately when you said that, I'm like, if everyone, like right now, just coming out of the, context that we're currently in, if everyone just had no boundaries and they were just free to do anything, I don't think that would end up good. But I do think freedom is important. But I think boundaries and things like that are also important too. And it's not to say that just because there's freedom, there's going to be that everyone's just going to, go wild. But I don't know. There needs to be like a system in place, I think.
All right. Team is brewing chaos. Period. Two L's is one of the people who is dragging me, by the way, just an FYI.
What do you mean by highest good? I think that's the part that makes me like
So is that the
apprehensive.
highest ideal? Is that the most important thing? And I juxtapose that as to freedom on the individual level, agency, a rejection of a rejection of the collective good in some ways, and personal agency and self actualization should sort of take precedence. Because in my mind, I was thinking about sort of the ways in which culture has evolved. I feel like if we could test different time periods, this time period and this culture might be the most narcissistic of any. Where, like, I don't think individuality has been this paramount ever. Does this make sense?
Yeah. So are you thinking that the level that we have now, not saying that we have ultimate freedom or whatever, but do you think that the level of freedom that we have now is causing problems?
I think the need to self actualize prevents us from seeing the collective.
Yeah, when you mentioned the collective and you were like saying that abandoning the collective was part of that ultimate freedom like framework that you were building for this question, I immediately was like, no, we definitely should not abandon the collective. Humans are social. We need the collective. I think, like you said,
How bound
yeah,
should you be to the collective?
how
Like
what?
how bound should you be? Like, who gets to define who you are? Who gets to define what you should do and what you should contribute? Not in the sense of your job, but even your job. But who gets to determine that? Should it be as individualistic as possible, where we get to define this is not about, well, let me not say that because then it becomes about it. So let me leave that alone. But who gets to define who a person is?
There's a TED talk about this that I thought was really interesting, that like who you are is basically how other people see you. And I never had really like thought about that perspective before. Like you are just like a collection of all the things that whoever's perceiving you thinks, and your own perception of yourself is different than maybe what other people perceive. So I think that it really is a complex question because it really depends, like, are you talking about in terms of how I view myself? I mean, I think I should be the one in control of that, but regardless of how I view myself, others may not feel the same way. So I mean, it's a both are at play.
Um, do you think the last one, and this is, I just want to see something. Do you think when you think about freedom, do you think of freedom like negative freedom or positive freedom? That is freedom from something or freedom to do something? How do you see freedom? And which would you say is more important?
Um, and that's kind of like the running towards or running away question, right? So when I think of it, I think I mostly like when you said it at first, I thought of it like freedom to do more things. That's what I've just first thought. Um, Things that, I mean, people, it depends on the person. Some things might be good, some things might be bad. So like you don't really know unless you know specifically who's doing what. But I don't know, I think of it like both, honestly. And I know that people hate how I'm kind of always like seeing both sides of things, but I really do see it both ways. Like freedom from consequences for maybe doing certain things, or freedom to do certain things that you may have been held back from before for whatever reason. So I guess it just goes, for me, it goes both ways.
So I think we have a collective or at least an individual impulse to um, freedom philosophy. Um, but you cannot be free without responsibility. And you cannot be truly free without infringing on someone else's freedom, as Curry points out here. Um, I am not asking you to tell how you draw the line around freedom to determine who gets to be free and to what extent people are free. But do you think that in our society now, we have mischaracterized freedom and the ability to self actualize to the point of bastardizing it? Because I think there is a kind of conflicting nature of freedom where you cannot fully be free, and that was always known. But it
Mhm.
feels now like we're saying everyone can be free for self actualization, while some people's self actualization might infringe on others, so that freedom is not absolute. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, I like this question. I I don't even think we have like, I don't want to say we don't have the capacity to even think about this. We do, but I don't think that in our society, like in terms of our own schema, like the things that we know, the things we've experienced, I don't even think this is an easy question to answer because there are so many factors that come into play. So, like, when we're thinking of freedom, you know, let's say you have a job or whatever, you're not free to just stop working unless you don't want to be able to pay your bills and don't want to live the life that you want to live. So like immediately all these things that we just have to do to kind of survive and be quote unquote productive citizens or whatever, um, come into play when we're thinking about freedom now. But I think there's a bigger conversation to be had in terms of like freedom of thought. And I don't think we've ever collectively been in a place as a society where that has even had any time to be at the forefront. Like it's mostly like we're worried about day-to-day things that we have to do. Like if someone had to be free from something, the first thing a lot of people would probably say was their jobs or paying bills or something like that. um and so much of our thought is formed by society, and we're just constantly inundated with like things in the media. Like we don't even know what it's like to kind of be like in a space of true freedom because things are coming at you from every direction everywhere all the time. So um I don't know. I like that question though because it's a
Yeah,
lot to think about.
yeah. No, I'm trying to figure out because I think we are in the progression seems to be deconstructing a lot of our ideas about what we know to be real and concrete. And so, as someone who, this is going to sound so weird. I'm an empiricist, right? So like I believe in like the objective world and I believe there's data to prove, not imperialist, not to be confused. Um, and so, or at least I try to be. And so when we start deconstructing, it becomes it's very difficult for me to adapt mentally to the new framework where nothing is real and everything is malleable. And so I'm trying to reorganize myself to what might become the new normal. And I don't know what that new normal is. So, because everyone can't be free. Freedom imply absolute freedom requires infringing on other people. And
Yeah.
so, what does that mean? And whose voice gets amplified and whose voice gets silenced in this debate? Is very it's a very strange thing. So I've been thinking about that for the last 3 days. Um, and I
Does it
wanted
make you uncomfortable, like the thought that we are moving more towards, but I don't even know if we're moving more towards that, but I know what you mean in terms of like things being more malleable. I was actually just talking to my mom about this yesterday, but the concept of things being more malleable and people being more free, does that make you uncomfortable because of the possible consequences of this long term?
It doesn't make me uncomfortable, it makes me feel unstable. So like when I could just pull up a data or I could engage in certain kinds of conversation knowing that we are both coming from or multiple people are coming from at least some objectivity, not objective truth, but like a reasonable person standard would be applied for objectivity. It feels like in conversations now I am not quite sure what is happening. And I think we are unable a lot of the time to get out of ourselves. I think empathy has gone down. And so everyone is very self centered in the worst way possible. Um,
Do you think it's amplified by, or yeah, do you think it's amplified by everyone has, and everyone, not literally everyone, but a lot of people
yeah,
have a space online where they can find people that share the same thoughts as them. So then your
siloed.
own thoughts become so important to you, and now you have backup, no matter what your thoughts are, right? Like anyone that thinks anything can find an entire group of people that think that. So do you think that situation is what is making this, I guess, more evident now than ever before?
I don't know if it's making it more evident because I don't think it's just it is amplifying it, but I feel like we're getting siloed, and in our silos we create these like echo chambers, and that becomes the truth. And so our small experience within our groups become the experience of the world from our vantage point, and that gets broadcast if you have a big enough platform to do so, and then everyone else is silenced into sort of submission to this. But then there's a pushback or there isn't, because it sounds like you're talking to the world, but even with social media, you're only talking to you. So like everyone else gets silenced, but like no one else was listening because you're talking to your own group.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely, I've seen this before. It happens like, and like what you were saying earlier with the objective, not even objective truth, but just, a framework that a logical or reasonable person could work within, to have a conversation about anything. There will be people who are just totally against things that have been studied, proven, data that's been collected. And it's just like, what is happening? I don't know. So I'm not sure if that has to do, I mean, maybe it has more to do with, like you said, these like echo chambers that we get into. So then people really feel like their belief is true. Um, but maybe it's an ego thing too. I don't know what it is, but it can be very problematic.
Yeah. Someone asked me the question and I didn't quite know how to answer. And so I tacitly just kind of agree, but like obviously it wasn't an overt agree like yeah we're the most narcissistic group, but and also freedom might be the highest ideal, but the agreement wasn't like an overt yes. And that fear to say yes sent me down like this rabbit hole of like really thinking about what does freedom mean, what does these silos and echo chambers what they do to us, and what will be the result of this when we continue to kind of deconstruct tradition, and what that will, because there's a lot of good in deconstructing what we know and analyzing history and the present day from a historical perspective. Like there's a lot of good in these kinds of conversation, but
Mhm.
how far are we willing to go? um, what, like, even down to who a person is has become really malleable, and I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing now, but it's like everything has is now a question mark where there was a period. So
Hmm.
I don't know. I think it's an interesting thing to think
I think
about.
so too.
Self
Yeah.
actualization can infringe on another, so it has to have some boundaries. Yeah, agreed. Thank you, Curry Up and Eat. All right, so that's not what we're here to talk about at all. And I
Good one.
let let's get into some of the foolishness now. So, have you heard about the altercation that happened with Usher and Chris Brown and Tiana Taylor?
Yes, I have. I've heard about that altercation. And
In
I don't okay, go ahead. What were you about to say?
So I am going to put an allegedly here. I believe it happened. Even if Chris Brown, Usher, and Tiana Taylor comes out and say it didn't happen, I won't believe any of them. Tiana, because they should have come out and already said it's not happening. It didn't happen
Mm.
already. And Chris Brown knows his own image. So if he says, "Oh, we're getting publicity from this," and he allows it to continue, then he's either an idiot or it actually happened.
Well,
So
he tweeted something or posted IG something like yesterday or whenever that was,
yeah,
right?
he
He
didn't
tried
straight up deny it.
he tried to, y'all run with your narrative or whatever he said,
Yeah.
right?
Chris Brown has a tendency to lash out and vehemently deny things that he is accused of. Um, and this, saying that he fought a friend who has thrown him a birthday party, is definitely something you want to come out and disabuse of us of that notion as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I know
So
if I were him.
yeah. So I'm just gonna assume it happened. I don't know if it happened. I'm just gonna assume it happened and we're going to proceed as if it happened.
Okay. So allegedly as if it happened.
Yeah.
Got it.
So Usher and Chris Brown have the same like management team. I don't care. Usher decided that he was going to throw Chris Brown a birthday party. Tiana Taylor showed up, and she was invited. And the story goes that there was an altercation. What we do have on tape that I'm not going to play is a kind of interaction between Chris Brown and Tiana Taylor where someone seemed to be in the middle of them and pushing Chris Brown away from Tiana Taylor as he yells at her. And reports have said that he was calling her the B word and just cursing at her. Now, it was reported Tasha K. Why did I say Tasha K, girl? Impressive Channel said that he called her the B word, didn't want her there, told her to leave. She was going to leave. Usher stepped in. Chris Brown was leaving. Usher went after Chris Brown, and Chris Brown and his friends and goons or whatever beat up Usher, and that was the story then. They also had a performance the next day. It looks like Chris Brown was there, Tiana was dancing to Chris Brown, and Usher performed, and no one talked about it. No one confirmed or denied, in my opinion. All right. At that performance, he then gets in another altercation, but we're not here to talk about the other altercation. We're all caught up to speed on what allegedly happened. I did not care. But then I saw, what are these people called? The queens? What cocktail with queens? I don't know who these people are, but Claudia, Vivica, and I forgot her name. Anyway, they're on a show and they decided that they were going to defend Chris Brown. At least one of them is going to defend Chris Brown. So I'm going to play this because now we need to talk about protecting abusers and why we shouldn't. And I feel like we have a culture and a subculture at least that protects abuser. Do you disagree with the statement? Because I don't want it to seem like you and I are in full agreement.
I do not disagree. I think that generally, like, especially when we're talking about celebrities and whatnot, a lot of things get, you know, overlooked or whatever, depending on how people feel about said celebrity.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that in a moment. Let's. I'm not gonna put it on the screen because I don't know about the copyright. Do you think I can put it on the screen, or do you think?
The one that you sent earlier, I think,
Yeah.
I mean, we put other things on the screen. It should be fine.
All right, let's do it. Let's watch it together.
Chill. Why you gotta chill? What if he felt just like what he said? F her. What if he felt like that? And he's saying that to his friend. What I don't like about it is that every time we bring up his name, not us, but every time his name is brought up, that he always get automatically blamed because he is that way. We know him to be that. So it gotta be him. That's what I don't like when people have that kind of stigma, because I got that. It's quick for you to think that, oh, well, Lisa Ray would have did that, or Lisa Ray said that. And I don't like that, because that very next time it could have been very different. But you blame me because of my past.
But if you have 2 incidents in one weekend, like, again, we're playing, like, come on. If I have 2 incidents in one weekend, I go, come on, y'all judge me for something I did 8 years ago, but I did 2 of those things this weekend that were both caught on audio.
What 2 things? What was the one thing? Why you gotta chill? Why you gotta chill?
All right. I will let you respond before I drag.
Before you drag. So
I won't drag.
Is she saying like that she doesn't want people to have preconceived, ideas about him based on things he's done in the past, and his, like, I guess, history of
violence?
Violence, temper, whatever, all these different things. Because I'm not a Chris Brown fan. I just really never have been. But it seems like the only time I hear about him is during these types of situations. But I just assume that's because I'm not a fan, and I just hear certain things that come up like this. But I think it's natural if you usually do something, or if you do something a lot, for people to look at other things that you do a certain way. Like, if you're known to have a temper and then someone sees you yelling at somebody, they're going to assume that it had something to do with you having that temper. So I don't know what she wanted people to do.
Lisa has that reputation for a reason. Look, let me show you this. So in the comment, Just Hilarious actually agreed. Besides Lisa being right, all 3 of them are freaking beautiful. So yeah, everyone beautiful, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, sure, whatever. All right.
What did you want people to do? What's the alternative? Before you drag, like, what is, from your point of view, what does she think should have happened? Like, what do you think she thinks should have happened?
I don't know. I don't know what she thinks should have happened, because I'm tired of people telling me that every time Chris Brown does something terrible, people go, oh, it's in his past. Like, why are you judging him for his past? No, he's doing this right now. This is not his past. It is a pattern. There is a difference between something being your past and you've improved from it. And this is something that consistently happens. In evidence, we have this idea that character evidence cannot be included, but for an exception, right? And there are a couple of exceptions. You can introduce evidence to show a pattern of behavior, not to say because of his character, this is who he is and thus this is what he did, but rather to show this is similar to what he's done in the past, and he's done this before, so it looks like an MO. This looks like the way he acts. I don't like this. I don't like people saying, oh, it's an action in the past. Sure. Yeah. Action equals habit, equals pattern, equals character. I don't think you're a good person. I don't care to know if you're a good person if I have to open my third eye to look into your soul to find the goodness in you. I am going to look at your actions, point blank, period. So if you are behaving badly consistently, you have built up a character for behaving badly. And that's what I'm going to call you, a bad person. Like,
Yeah.
I hate the fact that people keep doing this. People keep throwing this in your face that, oh, he was young. Was he young a year ago? Was he was young when he did it to Rihanna. He was young when he did it to Karuchi. He was like he was done when he threw the chair out the window. He was done when he had a tantrum. He was like young when he was cursing out the reporter. Like, no, it's a pattern.
Too many instances at this point.
Yeah.
Right. So, okay. Yeah.
So that out of the way, I don't want to talk about Chris Brown because Chris Brown is Chris Brown, and Chris Brown is going to do as Chris Brown does. What I want to talk about are the people who protect him. And Tiana Taylor is one of said people. And I don't understand why it is that people do this. It's not just a woman thing. We make excuses so often for bad behaviors. And Tiana Taylor absolutely, in my opinion, lied in a way to defend Chris Brown, but also to defend her own act. Do y'all remember when Tiana Taylor posted a picture of battered Rihanna and her in a punching glove? Don't worry if you don't remember it. I'm going to show you all. There was a feud happening between Tiana Taylor and Rihanna online, and Rihanna posted their net worth together, side by side. And in response to Rihanna posting their net worth, Tiana Taylor changed her header on her Twitter account to her in boxing glove and a battered face of Rihanna. What do you think? Trigger warning. That's the trigger warning. When people show you who they are, believe them. Exactly, 2L. So let's thank you, trigger warning. Let me pull that on screen. So I don't know if you guys can see this.
What?
So that's what she did.
So her and Chris Brown are
point, and I'm not saying she did.
Are her and Chris Brown
are she said that. I didn't hear you, so go ahead.
No, I think the sound is. I think there's a delay or something. I just said, are her and Chris Brown friends? Because I thought, based on this situation, I don't know, that he was mad she was there allegedly. That's what it seemed like.
At the time when the Chris Brown and Rihanna incident happened, she actually came out and she made a very telling statement. And it's something that, like, I've considered before, and I've read it through and through. Let me read the statement to you. If I can pull it up somewhere. All right. She said, and I saw this again on the Impressive channel, so thank you to her for doing that breakdown. But she said, a lot of people were jumping on different bandwagons, and I really felt like that was whack. Before the incident, this was the Rihanna and Chris Brown incident years ago. Before the incident between him and Rihanna, Chris had always been my brother. When we met, we clicked instantly, from our fashion styles to our love of basketball to dancing to everything. I've known him for 4 years, and I was one of the only people that stood by his side when his situation happened. His situation, by the way, is when he beat Rihanna. When he gets back to where he used to be, a lot of people are going to come running back and smiling in his face. He knows who really are his friends. I think stuff like this happens to really show you who really cares about you. Stuff like this happens is him beating up a woman. The way she characterized stuff like this happening, like when you're down, they're not with you. He literally abused another woman.
Saying it like he lost his job or something. Like, like he was just, yeah.
So that is what happened then. Then she gets into a fight with Rihanna, a public feud, and then she posts. I don't know how low one should go when they're fighting. I don't know. I don't know what that means. But when you post someone's battered face and then you put yourself in gloves, I'm not quite sure how else I'm supposed to interpret that than you being an enabler, because you are still friends with the person who did it. If you are behind the scenes telling him, yo, you shouldn't have done that, that's respectable. But you're posting pictures of what he did with you on having gloves as a clapback to this woman. I am
making
sorry.
light of the situation.
Yeah.
Making light of it, yeah.
The blackmail worship is real. Thank you, the music actor. Thank you, Just Dev. So she then went, and I'm staying on Tiana Taylor for a specific reason, and obviously everyone knows why, and I'll explain in a moment. But she went on the Breakfast Club to explain this picture right here. She went on the Breakfast Club to explain this, and instead of like owning her mess, she decided to deny, deflect, and I don't like it. So I'm gonna play what she said on the Breakfast Club about this, because I didn't believe it. This is from the Impressive channel, by the way. So
was that because of Rihanna?
I mean, that's what the statement said, right?
Did you feel like you took it too far though, putting that picture up and everything, and like, okay, maybe that was.
But you know what was funny is because I actually didn't make that picture. Mm-hmm. A fan made the picture, and I just posted being humorous, like because of the whole Mayweather fight. It wasn't like, oh, she's battered and bruised up. Let me da 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 da. Like that's not even my style, and I apologize for that. Right.
Does that make sense to you?
No, it doesn't. She knew where that picture. I mean, what the situation was with Rihanna's face and all that. Like, I don't even understand. What? Having to do with the Mayweather fight? What? Like, no, it doesn't make any sense to me. Not at all.
So you're an enabler. You know this man is toxic. You engage with this man, and you're an enabler. But not only are you an enabler, you're the worst kind where you hide your hand or attempt to hide your hand. You posted the picture. Own it. Say, we are in a public feud, and maybe it was too low. I shouldn't have done it, but I was in my feelings and I did it. Don't lie talking about it was about me. You're in gloves and her battered face is there. That your friend made her face look like that. You posted that and you had gloves on. But it's about a Mayweather fight.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Not at all. So why do you think why do you think people do that? Because like you said, there's a difference between, okay, someone did something, not like a pattern of behavior, but someone did something and, you talk to them about it. You don't approve of the thing. They're clear on your feelings about the thing and you still have a friendship with them, right? Like that happens. But if there is a pattern of behavior and now you're joining in with, I guess, I don't even know the word, but like, I don't know. You're just showing more of this as if it's a lighthearted situation and you're not making as big of a deal of it or shutting it down completely. Like, why do you think that a person would do that? Like, what would she gain?
She gains access to someone that she thinks is going to be bigger. Because what she said in that message was very important. She essentially said, when he gets back up there, he's going to remember that I stuck beside him. And I think that proximity to popularity and proximity to power and all of that allows that kind of energy to live. And people, I think, disregard morality, because I do think it is a moral issue, in an effort to get access to certain kinds of people. They will overlook bad behavior, but the problem with overlooking bad behavior like that is that it does not end in that one incident, and it does not end outside of you. Sometimes, and in this case, if it is real, it was aimed at you. Like, you are not exempt from his bad behavior. Give him enough substance. I don't know what kind of substance, alcohol. I'm not saying he takes anything. And you might be on the fire next. I think this is a broader conversation, though, about the extent people go to justify bad behavior. The men do it a lot, but it looks like women tend to do it a lot, because I am looking at these pictures and they're very annoying to me. These pictures are really annoying to me.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
This is after the Rihanna incident. This is after the Karuchi incident. This is after his mother versus him incident. This is after the Black women can't get into my section incident. This is after the colorist incident. This is after the texturist incident. This is after Chris Brown has shown every single person on this planet who is paying attention who he is, and then y'all paid $1,000 to go meet him.
And the fact, like, because this was what, like a year or so ago. I think when I saw that, I just couldn't believe. Like, I mean, I just could not believe. But I guess, I mean, I don't understand that at all. And I didn't. Again, I'm just not a Chris Brown fan, so maybe I don't get it. They're paying attention.
Chris Brown stands firmly on the backs of people like Tiana Taylor, Kelly Rowland, Chloe Bailey, Keke Palmer. Like, the fact, and this is not a lot of people, but it's a lot of fans. The women, I just don't understand. Tika Sumpter was one of the few major Black celebrity who came out and said, Black women, you're beautiful. Don't let anyone tell you you're not, right? And someone can degrade your image, and you consistently support, and then you are surprised, and I don't think she's surprised. People are surprised that Chris Brown would say that to Tiana Taylor, who is defending her. Why do you think he wouldn't? If he does something bad, if someone does something bad, and you in all your wisdom decide that you're going to stick beside him and you're going to defend him publicly and you're not going to give him any repercussions, I am confused as to why you would think he wouldn't continue to do that thing. That's ridiculous to me now. It's people like, oh, pretty privilege. He looked cracked. Allegedly. So I don't know anything about that. So let me stop.
While I was trying to figure out what was going on with that situation there, between all of them or whatever, I just couldn't understand. I mean, I guess now I know that they were good friends before, and now he was mad at her for something allegedly. So he was mad that Usher invited her. Is that how it went?
That's the story, but that's a huge allegedly, but yeah. He was mad at her apparently for pulling out of like the tribute to Michael Jackson, because white people said they didn't want one abuser to be giving tribute to another abuser. So standards. Allegedly, Rihanna and her never liked each other. She felt it was okay to post, and that's the problem. Because you don't like another woman does not mean you get to support the whatever. Thank you, Giggles.
Yeah, even if you don't like someone, you still don't need to post their abuse photo in like that type of way. Very strange behavior, in my opinion.
There are reports after reports after reports of Chris Brown being colorist. And he comes out and denies it, but then writes a song talking about people's hair texture and what kind of hair. He only sleep with women with the good hair. Thankful, that's a blessing. But we know what quote unquote good hair means. So you're not you're not even hiding you're not even hiding it. Like, and the fact that so many people, I look in the shade room, just hilarious, and everyone is in the shade room, like, defending him. And it's kind of sick because one of the only defense I will take is that we don't know what happened. And that's a good enough defense, right?
Mhm.
But like people who are like, let him cook, or maybe he was mad, or like what this lady just, Lisa Ray just essentially said, what if he felt that way about her? You don't get to embarrass people like that. You don't talk to people like that.
Yeah, I agree. Especially, I mean, yeah, I definitely agree. Even if you are mad, there are so many ways, especially if y'all are all friends allegedly, or I don't know how much I have to say allegedly, but
This is all alleged. You're fine. Yeah.
but if you all are all friends and everything, it definitely seems like there was a better way. So, yeah, I would never be like, yeah, you're mad, so you can go curse out your friends in public. Like, to me, it doesn't make sense.
Some people are asking where was her husband. I don't even care. I'm not asking. My thing is, there's a deep principle, I think, about the ways in which we protect the uncle in the family who we all know does what we know he does, and the way we kind of surround certain people who do bad things, usually men, um, and we protect them with everything we have, as opposed to expose them and sort of divest from them. And I don't understand how this is so prevalent. Like, I don't get how the person causing so much harm is also so very protected by the people that he, one, harm, or two, will harm.
It seems like a lot of people, have more empathy for the person who does the thing to someone else versus the victim of said thing. And I'm not sure why. Like, but I see that a lot in a lot of different situations where like the person who causes harm, people want to kind of like sweep them away and protect them from any backlash they might get. And then the victim is just sitting over there like, okay, what about me? Right. So I don't, yeah,
I
but
mean,
I
it happened with Megan the Stallion and Tory Lanez. People are like, people were in my comments talking about he might lose his career and he shouldn't have shot the gun. Like, what do you mean? Do you think I care about a Tory Lanez? Like, I'm
recently,
sure. Go
like
ahead.
last week, there was a guy in Illinois who, or no, I don't, it didn't happen last week, but it was like in the news. I guess he got sentenced recently, like in the last couple of weeks or something like that, that like robbed this pregnant woman at gunpoint. So he got like 40 years for it. And
As
I
he
saw a
should.
bunch of people sharing it and being like, oh my goodness, this is so sad. This young man's life is ruined. And I was like, what? What? This
Yeah.
man's life is ruined. So this woman, like, and not even talking about the potential things that could have happened, but just in general, she's gonna be potentially, her life could be ruined because of this too. And people were really like, man, it's just sad because his life is getting thrown away and he's so young. And I was like, why are more people seeming to care about this young man's life instead of the victim? I see it a lot, and I
A
don't get it.
community that blames the victim for being victimized is a community that is degenerate. I'm not saying naming a community. I'm saying, as a broad statement, I was watching Mahogany Pink's video this morning again, and the analogy about this woman going into a bad neighborhood because she needed to do what she needed to do, and her parking her car in a bad neighborhood came up. And someone stole the car. Her being accountable, right, is her locking the door, right? Her having an alarm system. But when the car is stolen, accountability is not on her for not parking in a bad neighborhood. Accountability lies squarely on the thief. And the system, even if your car was all the way open, the system thankfully puts the blame on the thief.
Mm-hmm.
A community that blames the individual who is the victim for being victimized enables abusers. That
Yeah.
is it. That is all. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's definitely true. Because then there's like a level of protection for people who do these things. So then more people start doing these things, right? You know that you're not going to be a social outcast for doing certain things because there will always be people that welcome you with open arms regardless of what you've done. So there's no, I mean, I'm not going to say there's no social consequence because there is, but for some it's just not enough, so they'll just continue doing things. So yeah, that's definitely very problematic within a society and leads to lots of problems.
Yeah, people are self-serving, so I think the protectors are getting something out of protecting abusers, even if it's just not letting go of a fantasy or accepting negative truth. I do actually kind of believe this. I think this is why I began with this idea that I'm not about to open my third eye to see a good character. If I can see your character as good from how you engage in the world, I'm not about to look deep in your soul. Like,
Yeah.
I am not about to figure out if on some deep esoteric level you're a good person. No, you did trash things, you're a trash person. You did good things, you're a good person. Until you do the bad thing, you're a good person. Until you do the good thing, then you're a bad person. Like, I am not about to sit here and meditate to open my pineal gland. Like, I'm not doing that. Like,
And the thing, in day-to-day life, I just, in my experience, most people are pretty reasonable. Like if something happens to you and you yell at somebody or curse at somebody, most people aren't going to be like, oh my goodness, you're a horrible person. Like they're going to look at the whole situation and say, you know what, I understand why they reacted that way. But when there's just, like you said, if there's a pattern of behavior or if something is like egregious, then yeah, you don't want to have to dig too deep to be like, is this a good person or is this not a good person? Or, you know.
I think some of the ways we engage, I think we should be militantly self protective, right? I think we should care about protecting ourselves and the people who are weaker than us in a way that allows us to out the people who do bad things. And if not out them, not overtly support them, like step away. It does not make sense to me that we see someone and this person curses you out, talks poorly about you, drags the image of you, and you sit there and you say, well, he wasn't talking to me specifically. He seems like a loose cannon, but once the cannon is not aimed at me, I am good. So I'm going to let him shoot everyone that looks like me, and I don't care because I am an exception. To do that, you're complicit. I don't want to hear it. You're complicit. Tiana Taylor is complicit, and I was going to say Kelly Clarkson. Kelly Rowland is complicit.
Yeah, I think that sometimes, and I think we talked about this before, like in one of the first shows. I think it's sometimes an ego thing when people want to feel like the exception. Like it's not even about like, oh, I just, I'm supporting my friend or whatever. I think sometimes it's more so about, I'm different. I'm getting treated differently, and people like to feel like they're being treated differently. So they may cling to people who are doing all these like horrible things to others because but like you said, it could easily become you at any point in time, but I don't think people are
Yeah,
thinking
like
about
there are so many people like rallying around Bill Cosby talking about like he is good and blah blah blah. People are still trying to convince me that R. Kelly didn't do anything wrong. It's like someone literally said it could be you. I hope that my character speaks for itself. And I hope that people are defending me because they believe that I am good. I don't want an exception made for when I behave badly. If someone behaves badly, they should be held to account. Like that is ridiculous. It is ridiculous to me that people still defend R. Kelly.
Yeah, that, I don't understand that either. I've never understood that one. It's been an ongoing thing for years. Like, even right now, if you say, like, just make a Facebook post or an Instagram post or something about him, people will come there to defend and blame the victims and do all these other things. So yeah, it's very strange, the R. Kelly situation.
Yeah, thank you, Chris, the songwriter. I think you were supposed to email me about something. There's something in my mind that I feel like was supposed to be emailed, but I'm not quite sure. So before we even get to opening up the panel, right? I wanted to first say that I'm opening up the panel to people who want to defend Chris Brown first.
I don't think anyone is gonna come.
And that would be a good day. That would be a good day because I actually have something else that I want to show you. It's a palette cleanser. I have to do this because your spirit is so calm. It's very good because it balances me out because I want to drag. And the reason I want to drag is Chris Brown deserves to be dragged continuously. And so that's very important for me to see. But I do hope that people are waking up with the whole Ebony situation. I'm not going to get into it. It was really nice to see women pushing back. There were there's too many women in agreement. But for the first time, and maybe this is selection bias or something, but I saw women saying, absolutely not, Iyanla, I'm not about to do that with you. You can do that by yourself over there. And for the first time, I saw a bunch of Black women pushing back. And that felt good. That it did. Like I was very much like, yes, you better raise that standards, and no one's gonna do all that foolishness. So, palette cleanser. Let me put the link here. Moderators, please copy the link. I'm gonna put this.
Will non-defenders be able to call after we see that there are no defenders calling? Because I don't think they're coming. I really don't.
Look, yes, non-defenders will be able to call. We'll have. Wait, how is it an hour? Is it already an hour?
I just saw. Yeah, I just noticed that too.
Ooh.
I know.
All right. Well, let's give it 2 minutes for non-defenders, and then we'll get to. I didn't realize it was already an hour. My bad. I feel like you didn't even get to talk much.
No, it was fine. I talked.
All right. So I told y'all that I was not gonna watch Kendra G talk to women, but I definitely saw this talking to a man. And Kendra G is out of pocket, but this man is definitely out of pocket. Let's go there.
29. What's the problem?
You didn't hear the question.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
You said where I'm from. I said Detroit. You said how old are you? I said 29.
No, yeah, I said how old are you?
I said 29.
That means how many years have you been on Earth?
I'm 29 years old, you fucking bozo.
29?
Yeah. Hey, I know, girl. I know you ain't trying to go there with the rings, because you without no makeup on, you're hideous. Like, don't play with me, because I can go there. I'm trying to be nice. That wig, bitch, like, don't play with me. Don't play with me, Kendra. Please don't do it.
How old are you, Deshaun?
29.
No comment. Apple, you're here to defend Chris Brown.
No comment.
Yeah, it may sound crazy, but I can defend it. I can defend him, even though I don't agree with any of his behavior, but I can absolutely defend him. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the community allows him to run rabbit and just do anything he wants to do. And a lot of times when you don't get pushback, you go ahead on and do whatever you want to do because you're not being seen or being told that it's really wrong. It's not nice, but you keep getting away with it. It's like having beautiful woman syndrome where you can walk through life doing whatever you want to do because you're absolutely gorgeous. And that's Chris Brown. No matter what he does, everyone is going to constantly forgive him for what he does. Doesn't make it right. And we can see it from the outside. But for him, no one is giving any limits. So he continues to do it.
So is this you more so understanding why the behavior continues versus defending the behavior or defending him?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. Can you repeat it?
Yeah. So it sounds more so like you are understanding why certain behaviors continue versus you like defending him. It doesn't sound like you're defending him. It just sounds like you understand why these things are continuing.
Yeah, I understand why it's continuing to happen, but for him, he's not being made to pay any consequence for it, so it doesn't seem that bad.
Maybe this is philosophical, but do you think that people are good because there's a consequence for being bad, or do you think that some people are just good because that's who they are?
Some people are just good because that's who they are. Some people are just bad because that's who they are. And some people act in accordance to if they're going to be consequences for actions or not.
So would you categorize a person who only does the right thing based on consequences being there or not as a good or bad person?
Okay, see, here's the thing. We're judging the behavior, right? So then it's good because we're only judging the behavior. In the mind, something else is going on.
I'm just asking
you. So they're going to do what they need to do in order to not receive the bad consequences.
So if you know this, like let's just say you know this about a person, I'm just asking you personally, right. Would you think that that person was a good person or a bad person? If you know their heart is not in the right place, but they're doing the behaviors that you have to do to not get certain consequences, would you think that person was a good person or bad?
No, I believe that this person is not a good person.
So you would think
I absolutely know that.
Okay. I was just wondering.
Right, but they're just doing what they need to do. They're just doing what they need to do to not suffer the consequences.
This defense, by the way, I apologize, there's some more people in the back, but this defense will send him straight to prison. The defense is just saying that he...
No, I realize, like, in a court of law, this doesn't work. I realize that, like, in a court of law, it doesn't work. But he doesn't have to worry about that because he's getting away with everything.
Yeah, I think you're saying we should hire our standards and hold him accountable. To a certain extent. Right. Thank you, Apple.
Because as long as he can get away with it, he's going to continue it. It's like you woman syndrome where you could just go through life doing what you want to do.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I feel like you're not actually defending him. You're chastising the community for allowing it, which I don't disagree with.
I need to chastise the community. Just like when I see a child behaving badly, right? And the parent.
Well, you were borging a little. All right, Love. What is your defense?
I want to say that he suffers from ever since his issue with Rihanna, he's suffered from like an untreated long-term depression, acute depression.
Wait, are you a therapist?
I am not at all in any way. However, his behavior and his patterns and drug use and blah blah blah, I think he's self-medicating just from my, what do you call that? My reality TV degree in psychology, so which stands for nothing. But so yes, that, and then also I guess my defense of him would be, I hate to say this, but his work as an artist.
Wait, how is that a defense?
Yeah.
In the sense that he's an artist. He's been able to create an artistry that people consume. So he has participated in the economic system. That is a horrible defense, but that's what I'm saying. Yes.
Do you think that defense justifies?
I think it justifies?
Yeah.
The maltreatment of people? Can I
like are you one of those people that's like, we got to separate the person and the art, or whatever people say?
Sometimes I am. But what I want this person.
Wait, let's pause. Because I feel like a lot of people are trying to get around the prompt. Are you defending Chris Brown? Let me hear this first. Because Kay wanted to convince me no one would come up.
So no defense of him has been like clear, right?
Okay. Well, I think he does suffer from. Okay, I'm not I can't diagnose him, but
wait, do you listen to Chris Brown now?
I've listened to some of his more popular.
Yes, your face. What did you listen to? What? Some of his what?
His more popular things, like maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I listened to some stuff, but recent stuff, no, not really, because it's starting to sound kind of all the same to me. Yeah, and yeah.
So wait, you didn't stop listening to him because he's an abuser or a colorist. You still listen to him, but you don't listen to his music recently because they're not good?
You know what? If I stop listening to artists based on colorism and all the isms, I wouldn't even turn on the radio. Like, to be at all honest.
What do you listen to? Who are these people?
Oh my God. I hate to say this, but like any browner folk who are creating music.
Like who are some of the colorists you listen to? Or racist or whatever ist?
I don't know why Kodak Black is like popping up into my brain.
Wait, you listen to Kodak Black?
Travis Scott. I'm thinking about things that appear on the radio. Do I listen to these things 24/7, 365? No. I'm more of like a 70s, 80s.
Wait, so let me be clear. You listen to Chris Brown, like Chris Brown's action has not turned you off from him.
Chris Brown's action. I don't feel like that's my place to. Oh God, that's such a hard. That's a moral argument. I don't. It is. It is.
Wait, it's not your place to what? Because I don't want to assume what you were about to say.
I don't.
This is stressing you out, huh?
It is, because I'm like, this man has children. He supports households, and so I understand. Like,
please don't tell me you feel a financial obligation to keep his finances up when he's richer than all of us. Please,
yeah, he is.
Please don't tell me.
I mean,
you're like he has mouths to feed. I have to support.
I mean. I know that sounds horrible, but maybe it sounds horrible. Maybe I'm the bad guy. I don't know. For me, yeah, that sounds horrible. That sounds horrible. I can't get away from that one. So, yeah.
You know,
do I buy his albums? No. Go ahead.
That might be the first time I've heard someone like say in real life that they felt the need to support a millionaire because they felt bad that maybe like they might not have enough money if people like them don't continue to support. I don't know. It was just funny. I wasn't laughing at it like that, but it was
Oh
funny.
no, feel free. This is this is the internet. It's all good. Anyway, yeah, so that's my defense. And yeah.
Wait, so you're justifying it because you think he has depression?
I think he has a lot of issues. Does it make it? Yeah, I'm gonna say yes. To answer to be clear in answering your question, yes.
All right. So you think you think Chris Brown has depression, which is why he's acting out?
From some of the stories I've heard, his behaviors are not. Maybe it's Hollywood. I don't know. Maybe that's how rich people act. I don't know. But continued abuse towards women, stalking, some of the essay type things.
Yeah, the thing is, I didn't even remember about the stalking thing without the video he put out about him stalking, and if he love you, no one can have you because he's gonna be after you. That kind of behavior. I completely had forgotten about that. But you remembered, and so you know all of this, but you're like, depression.
Yeah, I mean, so people suffer from things. You know what I'm saying? Like, are you gonna
don't have you beat people and stalk them?
Huh? Say it one more time.
Depression does not have you beat people up and stalk them.
Yeah, we got to stop stigmatizing. We got to stop putting these things on mental health all the time because I think that stigmatizes an already stigmatized group where, it's not necessarily the case that you're suffering from mental health issues just because you're doing something harmful to somebody.
I think I don't know. The thing is, when you harm someone else, like the whole thing with the overuse of drugs and like just some of the things I've heard about with him, like that's harming yourself. Like if you don't put yourself in balance, if you're not willing to be in community with people in a healthy way, you're hurting yourself. Yes, you're hurting someone else by physically beating them, but that abuse that you're projecting onto them is really a manifestation of what's going on inside of you. That's just my personal
Wait. So when someone say this is gonna hurt me more than it hurts you, and then proceeds to harm you,
am I making excuses? Okay, I think he's a hurt person who's hurting other people. Basically, he doesn't know how to deal with his relationships. I mean, does it make him? Does it excuse the behavior? No, but that's something he needs to deal with.
And until he does, you'll just continue to listen to him.
You know what? Y'all just keep putting. I don't listen to him like that, but I have heard his music in the past. I feel like now I feel bad. I mean, I can't even remember the last song I heard from him. It was on an album where he had a purple thing around him. But let me not advertise. Sorry. Will I continue to listen to him? Oh gosh. I mean, aren't there some questionable backgrounds for a lot of people? Like, I don't know.
I don't engage, at least not willingly. Like if I went to Afrobeats festival because Afrobeats and Chris Brown showed up, and I was like, why are you at an Afrobeats festival? I would not willingly participate in anything Chris Brown is in.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, yeah.
I'm not telling you what to do. I feel like we don't have a standard that says, like, people are like, the gay mafia wanted to cancel the baby because he said some things. And it's like, no, they just understand that if you allow certain behavior to continue, it can spiral out of control. And then you're getting dragged on the internet. So when they set boundaries and expectation and standards for how you address and operate it within a certain group, I feel like that is something everyone should adopt. Most communities do, and it feels like we don't sometimes.
When you say we, are you saying like the whole American society, or like
I'm saying you?
Okay, all right. I can't say I'm in community with Chris Brown or anybody else, but the idea of a standard is important. But just living life, you just encounter so many different types of people who go through many different things, and I'm on the older side, so I don't want to get too deep with this, but yeah, I've seen a version of Chris Brown in real life. So people going people. So, but yeah. So yeah, that's my 2 cents. And that's it.
Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
I know it was a hard seat. I'm still confused, but please note that you are welcome back up at any point to explain yourself later in the future.
Oh, thank you guys. Good night.
Thank you. Have a good one. Carlful, go ahead. While you're working on your mic, you just got off mute. I wanted to let you guys know I'm interviewing someone from the Manosphere, I believe, or maybe he's not in the Manosphere, but Manosphere related on Friday. So on Friday, I'm going to be talking to someone from the Manosphere-esque. So we'll see how that goes. Go ahead.
Okay, so my take is almost. Oh, hi, love you guys.
Thank you.
Okay, so my take is kind of like the discussion we had the other night in the Discord about trauma and how when you're a child like him, he watched his mother.
Wait. Are you defending Chris Brown?
I'm definitely not defending. But I don't know. I feel like this is like a plight for people to get therapy like sooner rather than later. So for him, he watched his mother be abused. And a lot of people, well, there's going to be like 2 camps most of the time. If you watch it's part of like the ACE, watching a parent figure be abused and feeling like you have nobody to protect you, and then so you act out because you never worked through those feelings. So I feel like this is a push to get other people to get therapy, because if you don't, you either become one of those people who are abused because you watch your parents get abused, so you become the victim, or you become the aggressor so you can't be the victim. Either way, you need to find therapy to get help. But I'm at this point, he has all the money in the world that he could have got some help.
Yeah,
So
when people say he needs therapy when people say you need therapy and you're multi-millionaire, I shut off my brain.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. For him, in his case, there's like he should have been seeing somebody. Like there's no excuse. He should have been seeing somebody. He's too busy trying to self-medicate with alcohol, drugs.
Well, allegedly, we don't know that, but
I've seen videos of him sniffing.
Nope. We don't know. Allegedly.
Allegedly, but there's a video of him in the club.
Wait, no. It's fine. Don't. It's fine. But again, I'll add one more person. There are 3 people in the back. I'll add 2 more people, and that will be it. Remember, it is to defend Chris Brown. Thank you, Carlful.
Bye.
Bye. Curry Up and Eat says, Demon play Sarah McLachlan in the arms of an angel for the women's willing to sacrifice at the altar. Right? All right, let's do this now.
And do we know whether or not he gets therapy? Like, I think a lot of people are assuming that he doesn't. I have no idea. Maybe people know something I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm surprised that they're bending in pretzel to defend. So let's go with Indica.
Hello, how you doing?
hi.
Doing well. How would you like to defend Chris Brown?
Oh, well, actually, okay. And you can tell me we don't have to talk about this, but I'm stuck with a moral dilemma now because I'm like, I kept thinking about James Brown and how much I like James Brown, but he like beat everybody he dated, And so I was like, okay, so who can I listen to? And so I'm sitting here like, okay, so I can't really defend Chris Brown and what he does, but then it's like, I also listen to James Brown. I also listen to Marvin Gaye. I also listen to E40. I also listen to, you know, everything in the world in our community that is, degrading, but then it sounds good. And then I do my workout to it. And like, where am I good? Where do I need to draw the line? Where's the line?
But where do you think you should draw the line? Because if as soon as I find out someone is behaving poorly, and by the way, I don't mean someone did something bad, and from my vantage point, they seem like they've changed or at least trying to be better. Obviously, they're celebrities, so there's a distance. But I know where I draw the line, and it's sort of like when I find that I can make a character judgment on my end.
Okay. Because then I started to think about like, okay, what artists have I not heard into some mess? Like we even still celebrate Rick James and make jokes with him, even though he's
No, wait. It feels like you're defending, but you don't want to, because you're saying, "Oh, everyone is bad, so we have to go with the bad. We cannot not listen to bad people."
Well, no, that's my dilemma. I guess I'm saying like, so then who would like who is left? I guess.
Do you not have like an internal clock, and not a time clock, but like a sort of, let's do thermostat for like people who, if you support, they would cause more harm in the community or in the world? Like, do you not measure? And maybe people don't measure, because like for me, I will never willingly listen to an R. Kelly tape. Right?
Yeah,
I will never willingly listen to Chris Brown. I would never like go out of my way to like turn on certain people. So it's like,
but then that's what I'm saying. I found myself willfully turning on, like I wouldn't turn on Chris Brown, but then I found myself willfully turning on Marvin Gaye.
okay,
And I know
are
that
you
he's,
saying if you like
and so then now I'm realizing, like
wait,
that, like
are
I
you
have
saying
made
if you like something that someone produced, you're not able to step away from it if they're like bad? So you will separate the art from the artist.
That's what I think I've been selectively doing so.
And my question is how?
Because I would listen to Marvin Gaye, but then I wouldn't listen to Chris Brown.
No, my question. My question is, how have you done that? You've differentiate between people you would listen to and those you wouldn't. Where do you draw the line? Do you draw it at colorism, abuse, racism? Like, where do you draw the line?
And I'm thinking I haven't made it solid because, like I said, both of them are abusers, and I listened to one over the other just because it was a longer time ago.
All right, so it sounds like you're saying, sorry, I can't resist.
Or I think that's, I have delved into sorry, I can't resist for quite a long time.
Right. So
because then I've like said, I'll make the like, oh, well, I won't listen to him. And I'm like, well, he's done the exact same thing. So what makes it any different?
So you don't think like this is a political stance? You're just like, this is art. I'm engaging in the art, and I'm not about to separate the art. I'm not going to tie the art to the artist. For some people,
I think some people can definitely see it that way.
Yeah. Do you listen to R. Kelly?
No.
Why didn't you separate the art from the artist there?
Because he definitely did some horrendous things to young ladies.
And Chris Brown didn't?
He did. And that's what I think that's what I'm getting at in terms of just how I'm parsing it out, because I don't listen to Chris Brown either. But then, like I said, I would listen to somebody from years ago who's done the exact same thing as Chris Brown.
What
I
did
mean, go ahead.
I just don't know what he did. What did Marvin Gaye do?
Oh, what was her name? I forget. Well, no, I know. Maybe it wasn't Marvin Gaye, but I know James Brown. He dated the same girl, the one he made the songs with. I don't do names really well. Marvin Gaye and the lady, Just the Two of Us, and all that stuff. Her. James Brown beat the mess out of her. And her and Marvin Gaye were friends, but I can't remember if they were together or not. But but at least James Brown was definitely a woman beater. Chris Brown was a woman beater, but then I'll be like, I'll listen to James Brown, but then not Chris Brown.
Wait, so that's what I'm trying to figure out. You have made a delineation, but you're saying I'm not gonna stop listening, or I can't stop listening to Marvin Gaye, even though he did these things in your mind. I don't know any of this, by the way, about Marvin Gaye.
Yeah. Oh no, Marvin Gaye was his wife, but that was a whole other thing.
Yeah. So, are you asking how do you stop, or should you like? What is the question? Because for me, all I'm hearing is I can't stop, or I won't stop listening to him. So I don't know what the question is.
Okay, no, I guess the question is like, I am trying to think of someone in the music industry, an artist that has not had some sort of scandal with women or some atrocity towards women.
I mean, unless I go looking for them, most of the artists I listen to don't have that.
Yeah.
So like maybe I just don't know about it, but like I don't find it difficult to like not listen to them.
Yeah.
If I find out. So like if you're like, oh, I know he did this, but like I'm still gonna buy it. Like hopefully you've rationalized that for yourself. But the idea that like I know I shouldn't do this, but I'm doing it seems odd. So hopefully you're saying I've separated the art from the artist. I don't agree with this fully. And so I'm listening to it. So I don't think it's bad that I'm listening to it. But if you're like, it is bad, I shouldn't do it, but I'm still gonna do it. That feels weird to me.
No, it's more like it's bad. I do not want to still do it. And now I'm racking my brain on who, that I would really respectfully want to listen to. And I don't listen to gospel music, by the way, so to X that out.
It sounds like a lack of self-control you're admitting.
Could be.
Themis, is it more about, because I'm just listening to what y'all are saying. For you, Themis, is it more about people not listening so that the artists won't get the like financial support of them pouring into him with their clicks? Or is it just like you should now be disgusted by this person and not like that thing anymore? Like which one is it more of?
Oh, so for me, it's don't support this person because you don't want to put money in their realm, right? But also, separate is the idea that Indica just pointed this out, which I'm confused by. I know it's bad, but I'm still gonna do it.
Well, but that's where I go with where's the line, because like the bad part.
No, but the problem isn't where the line is. The problem is if you've already drawn the line, right? So my own thing is, this person did something bad, don't support them because supporting them is financial. I don't like
what
that.
If somebody has a CD that they already bought in 1982?
Burn
do you
it.
think they should not listen to it?
Yeah. Like when my grandmother turns on her music,
No. But that's
it's like
the question,
James Brown.
though.
Should I be like, oh, hold on, we're not listening to James Brown no more, Grandma?
No, but we are confusing things, and I think intentional, not UK, but I feel like it's being intentionally confused. If you have your own standard and you think this person is bad, but you're going to listen to their music, unless you're saying you're going to separate the music from the person, and so you listening to it is not bad, I don't understand how you would listen to the music and say, it is bad, I wish I could stop, but I'm still doing it. How do I stop myself from doing it?
No, that's not that's not what I'm trying to say.
Okay, so you don't know if listening to it is bad.
No, that's not what I'm trying to say either.
Okay, what is your question again?
Oh, and for the record, I know that CDs weren't a thing in 1982. I threw out a year and a medium.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
No, I'm saying like.
What is your question directly?
Yeah, like where is I guess I'm trying because I said where is the line, as in where is the line of I guess woman beaters? Because like I said, there was people that I listened to, like, well, I'm just gonna listen to older music because it's not like blah blah or whatever. That's what I grew up on. But then the music that I grew up on was also by artists that were beating people all the time. And so I guess I didn't make those two connections that I was like not supporting it in one way, but then I was still supporting it in another. And sometimes I guess I myself just didn't see that in terms of my music choices, how I was like, I made it okay for Jane to listen to James Brown, but I didn't make it okay for me to listen to Chris Brown. But it should be not okay to listen to both.
Yes.
Yes.
I agree that it shouldn't be okay to listen to both if they're both abusive people.
Yeah. And that's what I was saying. Like I didn't evaluate the rest of my music choices, I guess.
Yeah.
Versus just evaluating the one who's like, because Chris Brown is being talked about right now. So then you're going to look at how you listen to Chris Brown. But then I was like, well, let me stop and look at how I listen to other people as well. That's not being talked about, and my connection in relation to, have I been skipping over what they have been doing and I'm just focusing on Chris Brown right now. And I realized that's what I had been doing this whole time.
Gotcha. All right. Well, hopefully you stop listening to all of them, but if you don't, that's fine. Thank you so much. We've been 30 minutes over, so let's get to Christy quickly and then we'll close.
Hi, Demas. Hi, Kay. Hi, everyone.
Hey, your defense for Chris Brown.
Okay, yes. So let me be very clear. I am not defending Chris Brown, but I'm considering what an opposing argument might be. As we were talking earlier, I thought about this, what an opposing argument might be. Just want to be clear with the group about that. Okay. What if the media and external opinions have shaped our perception of Chris Brown, and this behavior is the result from the pressures of celebrity life in the media?
So they're trying to take the black man down.
Well, a little bit deeper. So with celebrities, Michael Jackson, Anna Nicole Smith, they've all been negatively impacted and influenced by the media. And Mr. Brown's life, again, I'm pretending an opposing argument. Mr. Brown's life has been
please don't do this, because
okay. And one more point. Oh, you still want me to stop? Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, what if we see, what we see and what we hear really shapes our thinking, and it shapes our perceptions. And what if the information that we've been taking in about Mr. Brown, that has been the majority from a negative perspective, that's all we have, and it's limited our thinking about him, and this behavior is the result. That's it. Again, this is not my opinion. This is of course, in academia, you always think about what's a counter argument or what's an opposing thought. So this is what I thought might be an opposing argument.
After show. Nope, not an opposing argument.
Okay.
I don't think this is a poor media portrayal of him. I think he acts the way that he does. And this is not like big tech or big media pumping out stories about Chris Brown. These are clips of him going viral and things getting leaked. So no, I don't. I would not. That argument wouldn't stand. Particularly because Chris Brown was marketed to us as like a good, kind, sweet
Very
young
true.
man who is going to take over. And until he and Rihanna got into a fight, well, he did. They didn't get in a fight after he did what he did to Rihanna. Then we saw Chris Brown um, come back and completely transform his image. Even the way the songs he now sing, he's now a rapper. Like Chris Brown, Chris Brown is probably no longer considered a singer; he's a rapper. So he's leaned into the bad boy image. So if anyone is projecting an image to us, it's Chris Brown.
I could see that.
Yeah. Thank you. Oh, do you have anything, Kay? We have some super chats and then we can go.
You know, this whole time I've been sitting here thinking about my CD comment. So I looked it up. And CDs were out in 1982, but I didn't know that. I wasn't born in 1982. But yeah. Like sometimes when I think about something or I say something, I like keep thinking about it and have to find out. So but yeah, no, I don't really have any more opinions about this. I mean, I think that I guess I do. People definitely listen to people unknowingly that do harmful things. Some people completely stop. Some people just don't like put any more money into buying music from said person. So, I mean, I think there's just so many varying ways that people stop supporting someone, and it looks different depending on the person. But some people just continue to support, and they're just like, oh, you know, whatever. I still like this song. So, yeah.
Yep. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Remember to email me.
Yes. Have a good night, everybody.
Night.
Let's read the super chats quickly. I do have to I have to prepare for a conversation I'm having about the Black community on Friday on the live stream about what is the problem in the Black community and how do we fix it. And it's a gentleman that is in the manosphere. He's a content creator, so he's coming on.
Do you know exactly what problem you all are going to be discussing?
I asked him what the problem is in the Black community, and he's about to tell me. So I've heard him essentially blame Black women. So
okay, so you already know probably the talking points that are going to be presented.
No, I'm giving him the benefit of no. He said he does not like Fresh and Fit, so that's a good start. And they're not real men, so that's a better start. So. I'm in the Twilight Zone. This is the Boondocks R. Kelly episode for real, but he's the Pied Piper of R&B. Black women abandoned all Black men who heard us. Yeah, this is what I thought was going to be like. Kay even thank you, by the way. Kay even said no one is going to come up to defend, and maybe people are just trying to play devil's advocate. So I don't know.
That's what it sounded like.
Yeah, the more she talked, the worse it gets. The Coco Chanel. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Sam. And then Sam says, now I see why the community looks the way it does. How about you find other artists? They talk like it is impossible. Yeah, well, that's. I'm going to go into the Discord and drag for a moment now, too. Because we're already fighting in the Discord. Thank you, Sam. Said, I think the question was asked was, can you defend the behavior not if the person is good or bad? Again, I don't divorce. You can do a bad thing and be a good person. You can do a good thing and be a bad person. But your actions are what I use to determine the kind of person you are. if I'm not about to say you're a good person even though you do bad things because you went through bad things, because all I see you do is bad things. So that's who you are. I'm not opening my third eye to determine if you're good or bad.
Hi.
These people said let me harm whatever they want as long as the music good. Look, I don't use that word, but I don't know why people do that. The look on theme is faith. Period. Any final thoughts?
I was thinking about it this whole time too. Like, what's the last Chris Brown song that I think the last Chris Brown song that I had in my music library was Yo, Excuse Me, Miss, from like 2005. I couldn't even tell you like Chris Brown's most popular. I'm just not a I've never really been a Chris Brown fan. So the fact that like, I hear about him a lot and it's usually about like things he's doing versus his music. I don't know what's going on, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't I just I did so this is bad. I think our community on here is very, I think, more strict and more aware, hopefully, than most. So if we are amongst us, we are unwilling to remove ourselves from things that are harmful. Um, I think that it's going to be even more difficult for like the broader community to like remove themselves from things that are difficult. And I do think it's not just a specifically Chris Brown problem. I think it's a general problem. But if people see us moving away from things that are in out of alignment with what we want our music to be and our artists to be, we will hopefully get more of the good things, because I don't think it is a matter of supply ignoring the demand. I think supply and demand are feeding into each other. And I think we need to make a more clear statement of what it is that we want to allow within our communities. That's kind of where I am, but I'm trying to give grace to say maybe the community is that bad. We don't have good people making music, but I can't accept that because I listen to people that I don't think are bad. But I'm going to go look into their background. I mean, I'm not going to go out of my way to look into their background. But if it comes up and they're terrible people, then I'll stop listening to them. I love listening to Daniel Caesar, and he said to stop listening to him and make him go broke, and I did that. And every one of his fans did that too.
You follow direction.
Yeah. I just found out, contrary to what Chris say, y'all lawyer. Right. Thank you. I'm glad we're going to end with this one. Curry up and eat. I appreciate it so much. Thank you for lightening the mood. Have a wonderful night. I will see you guys on Friday as we will be educated on what the problem in the community is. And so grab your coffee, water, tea for then. You might want something stronger. Have a wonderful night. Thank you guys so much for coming. Love y'all.